Let's dive right in. Let's not mince words. Canada is staring down the barrel of a 25% tariff on all our exports to the U.S. as early as Feb 1st. It could all be bluster. It may not be. And we have no one to blame but Justin Trudeau and his band of incompetent, virtue-signaling sycophants. President Trump, this is a man who means business, folks. He's made it pretty clear. Enough is enough. Canada has taken advantage of us for too long, he says. And he's vowing to bring back fairness to the table. He's done with Canada's weak border policies, the fentanyl crisis pouring across our southern border, and what he calls the years of trade imbalances that have tilted in our favor. And now he's wielding a sledgehammer, a 25% tariff that would cripple our economy unless we act, and act fast. But what does Trudeau do? He prorogues Parliament, effectively shutting down any meaningful debate or action that could mitigate the looming crisis. By suspending Parliament, Trudeau has rendered Canada incapable of properly responding swiftly and decisively to Trump's tariff threat. And instead of rallying Parliament to craft a robust response, he's chosen political survival over national interest, leaving our economy vulnerable and our leadership in disarray. That's right. As the crisis looms, Trudeau decides it's the perfect time to take an 11-week hiatus so the Liberal elites can jostle for his soon-to-be vacant throne. Meanwhile, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith is left scrambling, counting down the days until this disaster of a prime minister is gone, so we can finally start repairing the damage done to our relationship with our largest trading partner. This crisis is 100% Trudeau's fault. For years, he's treated Donald Trump like an adversary rather than a partner. Remember his smirking jabs at Trump? His sanctimonious lectures about feminism and climate change? His insufferable virtue signaling? Well, guess what? Actions have consequences. Trudeau has poked the bear one too many times, and now we're all about to pay the price, potentially. Trump has made it clear that Canada's border is a sieve, a revolving door for illegal immigrants, some of whom pose a terrorist threat, deadly fentanyl. He's not wrong. The Liberals have paid lip service to border security, throwing billions at it without achieving anything concrete. The Canada Border Services Agency bought 60 drones. But what good is it if they're not deployed effectively? The RCMP is watching very carefully, according to Public Service Minister David McGuinty. Watching what exactly? The steady stream of illegal crossings? The fentanyl destroying communities on both sides of the border? And what about Alberta's oil and gas industry, the economic lifeblood of this country? For years, Trudeau and his eco-activist cronies have strangled our energy sector, blocking pipelines, smothering investment, leaving us dependent on foreign imports. If we had invested in the infrastructure to bring Alberta's oil and natural gas east to Toronto and Quebec, we could have been energy independent and had a powerful bargaining chip in our trade talks with the U.S. But no. Trudeau chose to appease his woke urban base instead. And now, in a desperate bid to sound tough, he threatens to retaliate against Trump with tariffs on steel and critical minerals. Really? What leverage do we have when we're completely reliant on the U.S. market? Pierre Poilievre is absolutely right. We need Parliament back in a session now. Not tomorrow. Certainly not next month. Now. We need to pass emergency border control measures, enact if necessary, retaliatory tariffs and negotiate from a position of, dare I say, strength? I don't even think that's possible. But instead, we have a lame duck prime minister who is busy planning his exit strategy, too busy, in fact, to care about the crisis at hand. And while Chrystia Freeland and Mark Carney squabble over who'll inherit the Liberal crown, Canada is left rudderless. The Trudeau government's approach to this crisis is a perfect encapsulation of their entire tenure. Arrogant, short-sighted, and utterly devoid of any strategic foresight. They keep insisting they have a strong border plan. But if that's true, why is Trump threatening tariffs in the first place? The reality is that Trudeau's Liberals have left the border situation spiral out of control, and now they're scrambling to contain the damage. And let's not forget Trudeau's classic move, trying to play the victim. We've heard the same tired lines before. We will fight back, Trudeau says, as if he's standing up to some bully rather than cleaning up his own mess. Fight back with what? More empty rhetoric? More photo ops? Trump's not buying it, neither should we. The solution here is pretty clear. We need a conservative government led by Pierre Poilievre, a government committed to mending fences with Trump and taking decisive action. Poilievre understands the urgency of securing our border by hiring more CBSA officers, deploying advanced surveillance technology, stopping the flow of fentanyl and illegal immigration with stricter enforcement and tougher penalties, and ensuring Canada is a reliable and trustworthy trading partner by cutting red tape and strengthening our economic ties with the U.S. through fair, reciprocal agreements. He understands that tariffs are not just a threat, they're an economic death sentence if we don't act. And the federal court must step in. Well, they will step in, but they must order Parliament recalled immediately so we can hold a vote of non-confidence, and oust this disastrous Liberal government before it's too late. We need leadership that'll put Canada first, secure our borders, rebuild our energy infrastructure so that we're no longer vulnerable to the whims of a hostile Liberal agenda. The stakes are too high. We can't sit back and watch Trudeau and his merry band of globalists continue their reckless mismanagement. It's time to take control and put an end to this madness and show President Trump that Canada is ready to be a serious partner again. So the call to action, Trudeau, open Parliament now. Canadians demand change. Conservatives, you need to prepare to lead, because only a strong, decisive, and unapologetically pro-Canada government can pull us back from the brink. We can't afford to wait. February 1 is coming fast, and by then Parliament must be back in session, emergency border measures must be implemented, and Trudeau must be held accountable for his reckless inaction. His decision to shut down Parliament for 11 weeks in the face of a potential economic showdown with President-elect Trump is now facing a legal challenge. And the federal court says it's too important to ignore. Is the Prime Minister's move an abuse of power or just political strategy? Hey, this is Richard Syrett. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe.